introducing myself. My name is Clement Nyangacha. Currently, before I take over, because I've not taken over, chief principal of Kenya High School, but that I handed over last week. I want to say that I started working by the TSC in the year 1998 at Machengo PAG Secondary School, where I stayed from January 1998 up to May 2002, when I was requested to become deputy principal of a neighboring school called Isena Mixed Secondary School. So when I went to Isena Mixed Secondary School, I worked there for a period of 20 months. That is from May 2002 to February 19, 2004, when I was promoted, I don't know how, to become the principal of a girls' school. That girls' school is called Isena Mission Girls. I started the school from scratch. The school did not have any building. I was offered a church building, an old church building, mud-walled church building, to start as class. Then I was also given the pastor's kitchen as my office, whereby I took the bedroom of that kitchen for my office and the store, and then the sitting room for the staff room. I stayed in that school for the whole 7 years. And by the time I left, we had infrastructure. We did KCSE since 2005 to 2010. The school had become almost full boarding with 251 girls that I handed over to my deputy by then, who got promoted to become the principal of that school. At the end of the year 2010, or before the end of the year, I was requested by the church that it was the sponsor of the school where I was to go and head a school called Regina PAG Secondary School that I took without hesitating, because I had really stayed in that girls' school for that period, that is 7 years. So I took over the headship of Regina PAG Secondary School from January 2011 up to the year 2014. But I want to say that when I took over Regina, the enrollment was 334. I raised the enrollment to 600 by the time I left 4 years later. And I did a lot of infrastructural development in that school. And actually we scored the highest mean for that school. That time it was 6.7. That was the highest for that school. And this is the school in which at the end of the year, my first year, I was promoted to the position of senior principal. At the end of 2014, before the end of 2014, in May 2014, I received a transfer to Clement High School. But because I did not like the idea of joining a school mid-year, I prayed against it. And I want to thank God, because that one was reversed. And I thought they had forgotten about me, because according to me, I thought I was not done with Regina. But at the end of the year, the same year, that is the end of 2014, I again received, by 19th of December, I received transfer again to the same place, Clement High School. I must say that Clement High School is a very big school, an extra county school, established one. But unfortunately, by the time I took over the reins of the administration of that school, the school, I can say, was a very small school in terms of enrollment. Because on paper, I received 207 boys, but the boys who turned up when you opened school, they were around 198. I want to thank God that during the period that I stayed in that school, I was able to take the enrollment to around 800 boys before the localization set in. And then I was transferred from an established extra-county school, Clement High School, to a sub-county school that was doing its 7th year, because the school was established in the year 2011. When I went there, at first I was broken-hearted, but something came to me and told me God had a plan for me in that school. I started to stay and I started to work. So when I went there, the boys were 440 at Kenya High School. and the staff. I had a staff of 10 TSC teachers and 5 BOM teachers. I started building a team, and I want to say that every year the enrollment was going up. So by the time I left Ugenya High School, actually in 2019, I struggled and the school was elevated to county status, and I did not stop there. In the year 2022, shortly before I left, the school was elevated to extra county status. And by the time I left 1,500 boys, and I left 55 teachers. I had received or inherited only 6 members of the support staff because the school was young. And imagine I didn't have even a secretary. But by the time I left 26 members of the support staff. The school is now established, and our peak was in the year 2021 when the whole class that sat their exams, 174 boys, all of them passed and had C+ and above. The lowest scored C+ of 47 points, and the highest had A- of 79 points. But again, the peak was 2022 when we set out to score the first A for that young school, first A ever. And I want to thank God that we achieved that, because I had come up with a program called OGAL, Operation Grade A Lazima, that was written all over the school. And I want to thank God that through the efforts of the staff, the parents, and all the stakeholders, we were able to achieve the first A plane ever for that school. And you see, that's now when I received another transfer from Ugenya High School. After I'd done a lot of infrastructural development, I had expanded the school so much, then I received a transfer letter. Of course, I did not request for it, but I'm grateful that I've come closer home, and I want to promise that Kebirigo Boys High School is not going to be the same again. And I want to promise all and sundry that we are going to score the first A's in this school this year, 2023. Hallelujah.
Principal, you said that the boys did intellectual protest.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
I want to say this, that when my teachers discovered that I had been transferred, they were so saddened. They were so gloomy. You could think we had lost one of us in school. But you see, I had to talk to the teachers and counsel them. But now I was fearing what was going to be the reaction of the students when they discover that I had been transferred. So it was on Thursday. I had a PA executive meeting on 9th. Then I went to the supermarket to get something for myself. I received a call that I was needed at the county director's office. I asked why. I was told there was a letter for me for transfer. I just came back. I just went the following day on Friday, picked the letter, but I didn't tell anybody. I only told the bursar and the accounts clerk to prepare, handing over notes. Somehow the teachers caught wind of this. And immediately I told these ladies to go out and go prepare the teachers. Around 5 of them confronted me in my office. I thought they were discussing issues to do with admission. Kumbe, they had caught wind of that. They asked me, is it true that you are going? I told them, I cannot hide it from you. It's true, I'm going. But I kindly don't tell the students, because we don't know how they react. Because I knew the kind of relationship that was there between me and the students. So, Kumbe, after that on Friday, I just traveled home. On Saturday, I came reconnaissance tour of this school. When I went back on Sunday, I found the students having mass. And they erupted into, they started clapping, and then all of them stood up and they were happy. I was wondering what was happening. So I didn't know anything. I just went there, sat throughout the mass. After that, I addressed all of them. Then I left. I told the others to go, and then I remained with the Form 1s. I talked to them because actually I knew that was the last time I was talking to the Form 1s, because the following day I was going to hand over the school. But Kumbe, the students had caught wind of this, and silently they were wondering what's happening. Yeah. So come Monday, I went to the assembly as normal, as I was waiting for the people who are going to conduct this handing and taking over. I went to the assembly and addressed the boys. But you see, when I was addressing them, I saw a lot of unease in the boys. Then I was wondering what was happening. I just wanted to changamsha them kidogo. And then there is a slogan that we have for the current Form 4s who are christened the Eagles. Then whenever we say the Eagles, they are supposed to say Vuka Tisa, because our target was that 9, which we had achieved the other year, so we were having the same target. Vuka Tisa. The boys never responded. Not even one responded. I was wondering what's happening. And then I repeated, the Eagles. Then I just assumed them. I continued my speech. Nikamaliza. Immediately I went to the office. When I got to the office is near the gate. Kumbe, as we were talking, the parents were at the gate. So many of them. Local community, border riders, name it. They were there at the gate. So immediately in the office, as I was seated on my chair, I could see at the gate what's happening. Yeah? Suddenly the boys started chanting, "No chief, no school. No chief, no school." Hey, I was taken by surprise and I was wondering what was going to happen. At that time, then outside the gate, the parents started chanting. And you know, when the boys realized their parents were out there, they went, forced their way out of the gate, ran all the way to Wunja, ran all the way to the CDF offices. All that time I was holed up in my office, not knowing what to do. The teachers were sad to the point that they could not control the boys, because the teachers themselves were, needed counseling. So they could not go help the students when they needed counseling, because it came as, a surprise to them. So what happened is that at the end of it all, there is one teacher, a Kisi teacher. When I sent around 20 teachers, including my 2 deputies, to want bring back the boys were uncontrollable. But I want to say why I say this was intellectual demonstration. These boys never destroyed anything. They never touched anybody. They never touched any vehicle. They never shouted at anybody. They were only chanting, "No chief, no school. No CNN, no school." And they wanted their voice to be heard. And this was a frantic effort to ensure that probably I could be retained. But unfortunately for them, I could not be retained. So that teacher went and called me, akaniambia, "Mwalimu, these boys will only listen to you, please. Just come and talk to them. They listen to you because they respect you, and they'll come back." So I had to go. By that time, the officers who were supposed to conduct the exercise were there. I told them, "Let me go for the boys, because we cannot have this exercise without the boys." So I went there, I found the boys at the CDF offices. They shouted when they saw me, they just, they shouted with joy when they saw me. They usually call me Dad. Yeah? So these boys, I talked to them. First question I remember asking them was, "Do you love me?" "Yes." "Do you love our school?" "Yes." "Then listen to me. But before you listen to me, can you be my students?" Because some of them had removed their ties. Some of them were having their shirts hanging. I told them, "Can you be my students?" And they knew what I meant. Very fast, within seconds, the ties were in place. The shirts were tucked in and all that. And I told them, "If indeed you say you love me, and you love our school, listen to me. Let's go back to school." They said, "Yes, Daddy, but on condition that you are not going anywhere." I told them, "Yeah, that thing has been reversed. I'm not going anywhere," because I wanted to get them out of that place. Imagine we had to trek with the boys, because that's a distance of 5 kilometers. I trekked with the boys a distance of 3 kilometers. But you see, before we could even make it our way to school, when we left that CDF office, we came to the main road that goes to Busia, another one goes to Kisumu. Instead of them taking the Busia road where our school is located, they went to the other side. I had to run. Literally, it was a show. It was a drama in Ugunjam town. Yeah? Because the parents had also joined, "Watoto wapatiwa haki yao, mwalimu asiende. Hey, mwalimu, watoto wanakupenda usiende." But I told them, "Yeah, asiendi mahali." But I knew what I was doing, because once I've been given marching orders, me, I have to go. So I had to control the boys. Actually, I was running like mad. People could not believe with my weight that I could run like that. So I ran after the boys. I got hold of them. I told them, "Let's take this route to school. We agreed that we are going to school." So I took them. The police vehicles were there, and I want to thank the police, because they were just escorting us. The directors were there, members of the public, other principals were there. They were escorting us, and they were seeing me walk. They were really sympathizing with me. So after 3 kilometers, I was now convinced that I was so tired. So I took the vehicle, I took them back to school. Tukaenda nao pole vile wanatembea, walikuwa wamechoka, wengine wamevua viatu, wamezibeba, they're just walking barefoot. We went all the way to school. When we reached school, they couldn't get to class. I just called them to an assembly again. Kambia, boys, what did we agree? We agreed that you come back to school. You come back to school, you have to go to class. So I want each one of you to go to your class. I'll come class to class after class and talk to you. Sasa hizo wameenda wametulia kwa class. I went to the office, handed over to the deputy. But they sensed something because we stayed for long in the office. They sensed something. They were milling around this place. They came to the field by Satisa. I remember I was signed a check that I was going to withdraw money so that I leave it behind for use in school. Now these boys, wote walikimbia kwa gari yangu wakaizingira. They came and they said, you are not going anywhere. I told them, guys, look here, it's a check. I'm going to get money for you so we can run a school without money. They told me, yes, oh, it's true. You know, Kalala said it's true. But they said, no. Chair, student council come here. Akamfungulia mlango. Akaingia my car. Kasema, make sure the principal comes back. So I had to go with them, with the boy, a very tall boy, the chairman of the student council. I had to go with him to the bank. We withdrew money. He ensured that I was in the vehicle and I drove back to school. When I drove back to school, I came, surrendered the money to the bursar, and went out and now talk to the boys and go, guys, I'm very tired. The trek that we had, I'm very tired and I want to freshen up. Let me go freshen up, then I come back. They allowed me. On the condition that I was coming by the way, I usually feed my students. I serve them in the queue. And that's I started that one in 2004 when I became a principal. Once in a week, I go serving them food. They told me, Daddy, this supper, are you going to serve us? And yes, let me go freshen up, then I come and do what? And serve you. But I just went for wood. And I've never gone back to school. Mm-hmm. And I'm told that evening, the boys, when they realized I was not there to serve them, they staged a go-slow. They went to the field after eating. They sat there. I don't know how the teachers convinced them to go back to the dormitories. They slept. The following day, because I usually come to the office by 4 or 5, they came to the office to check whether I was there. I was not there. Then they went back to class. After class, when the bell rang for their breakfast, they came back again to check whether I was there. I was not there. They decided to go. They took their breakfast. After breakfast, they went and packed their bags. They came, they told the teachers, we are now going home. The teachers were calling me, Mwalimu, what do we do? I advised them what to do. And actually, they contained the situation. But I'm very sure those boys are not settled. But I want to pray for them. I love my sons so much. They were in high school boys. And I know I'm going to transfer that love here. I will remember the boys in prayers because we were expecting more A's this year. I believe they are going to score the A's as we also scored the A's at Kebirigo Boys High School. Inspiration from God. Prayers. Prayers keep me going. I'm one person who believes in prayers. I believe in prayers. And another thing that keeps me moving, that gives me encouragement, is to see success of my students. I work towards achieving goals that will help the students succeed in whatever they are doing.